This is Carl at National RV Detroit, and I'm going to walk you through this 2021 Keystone Springdale travel trailer. And the model number is 251BH. Okay, so this is not a floor plan or a sales video. This is a how-to video. I'm just going to show you some of the features and how they work. Okay, so here we're at the door side rear. You can see you've got power stabilizer jacks, right? One switch controls both rear, and then there's another switch up front that controls both front. You don't lift the trailer with them. You're just going to take the wiggle out of it, the movement out of it. So keep that in mind. Now, let me look over here real quick. See what? So this one you can actually crank manually if you have to. See, it's got a shaft with a pin through it there. Well, you can actually crank them manually and get yourself out of trouble. Let me just look in here to see what we have here. Oh, sorry about my camera work. So this right here, this particular crank, you can see this one is a cylinder. Let's see if I get a good picture. Sorry about my camera work. A cylinder with a slot cut in it. Well, that'll fit right over the shaft with the pin through it, right? And you can actually crank them manually if you need to. So that's a good feature. This is the front switch right here, of course. Now, also, this has an LP quick connect. If you want to add a grill or something, it plugs in right there. You need the hose and the appliance. Make sure it's appliance that's designed for a travel trailer. It has to be the right pressure. You have an outside refrigerator, just an AC refrigerator. You have power awning with LED strip. You've got outside speakers. TV signal out plus power to put a TV. Now this vent here is the range hood vent for the fan that's over the range. So if you're going to be venting, you have to reach up and there's a tab in each corner, and you have to flip them so the baffle inside there will flap freely. So anytime you're venting, you want that baffle flapping freely so it vents to the outside. When you're traveling or in storage, you just keep it shut. Okay. This is the furnace vent here. This is the water heater. There'll be switches on the inside of the trailer, but there's a switch out here too. So this rocker switch right here, if you can see it, on and off. Hopefully you can see it. I can't really see my monitor here because of the sun. This controls the electric heating element that's behind this cover here. So to turn this on, you want to flip this to the on position. Now, never run the heating element, or the burner for that matter, without water in the tank. So if you've drained it and you're getting ready to go camping again, make sure you refill it before you turn the heating element on, or the burner, so you don't damage it. This other switches are inside the trailer. I'll show you those when we get to it. This is the drain right here. It's a anode rod plus drain plug. So it's about 6 or 8 inches long. So you back it out there, and it takes an 1 1/16 6-point socket to do it. You also need like an extension and a breaker of some sort of ratchet or a bar, but that's where you drain it from. This is just like your water heater at home. This is just a safety pressure valve. Never pull the drain plug or touch the safety valve or anything when the water's hot. You always wait for it to cool down. Also, you never pull this plug out, or unscrew the plug when the water heater is under pressure. Otherwise, it'll shoot out of there like a cannonball. So you always want to shut off the water source, then open a valve, the hot water valve, to let the pressure out of the system, and then you take it out. Otherwise, it'll shoot out of there pretty hard, and if there's hot water behind it, you can get hurt. So make sure you always make sure it's cooled down and the pressure is released before you do that. Okay. This is your hitch. This is a Husky centerline weight distribution hitch with built-in sway control. We're going to show you how that operates when you pick up the trailer. It's a good hitch. It had, like I said, it has built-in sway control, so you don't have to worry about adding any sway control or anything on it. It's all built in. All right, so you have a power tongue jack, and keep in mind that, like the stabilizers, you can pull this plug here. If this was happened to fail for whatever reason, you can pull this plug right here, and then use this smaller crank that's in here to crank it manually, so you can get yourself out of trouble. That would be this one here, and you can always get hits and unhits, even if you have a failure. So that's a good thing. You got 2 LP tanks which are full. You got a deep cycle marine battery, which is brand new. Okay, so when we come over here, these are the water hookups here. So the most common way to get water to the trailer right here is the city water hookup. If you've got city water, you just put the hose on there, turn it on, and you're all set. Now, if you happen to be camping somewhere where there's no plumbing on the campsite, let's say some of the older state parks, for example, will have a fill station when you first come in by the ranger station there. There'll be a big fill station, but they don't have plumbing on the campsite, so you pull up to the fill station, and you can fill your tank here. And there's a 12-volt pump on the trailer, so I'll show you how that works, but you'll just turn it on, it'll pressurize the trailer, and every time you open a faucet valve, the pressure will drop and the pump will start pumping, and it'll pump the water out, and you know, everything works just like you have city water, even though you'll be pumping water from the tank. So obviously if you have city water, you don't have to worry about the pump and the freshwater tank at all. Alright, so here's a gray tank. This one probably has 2 gray tanks, so there's one of the gray tank valves there. And let's come down this way, see what else we got. Yeah, and then there's another gray right here, and then the black tank. The black tank is toilet water and waste. The gray tank is sink and shower water. So we have 2 gray tanks and a black. Now the cord pulls right out of here, and it's 30 feet long, 30 amp cord. We also give you a reducer to reduce it down to 20 so you can plug it in at home when you're packing, that sort of thing. This is a black tank flush here. Now it says on the sticker, make sure the black tank valve is open before you turn the water on. So what you would do is after you dump the black tank, you leave this valve open. Then at the dump station you put the hose on here, turn it on, and it'll spray out the inside of your black tank, clean it out really well. Plus it'll spray off the sensors in there, so you continue to get a good accurate reading from your tank sensors. So it's a good thing to do. If they have a working hose at the dump station, you should always do that. This is just a shower sprayer for kids and dogs and feet and bicycles and whatever you have to hose down. Okay. All right. This is cable, or that's campground cable through to the inside of the trailer. Now this is a backup camera. I'm not sure about the story with this one. I didn't prep this trailer, but that is a backup camera. I don't know if that's an antenna hanging there. I just don't know. So we'll find out when you pick up exactly what the status of that is. Also, while we're looking up here, the manufacturer will state that you should inspect your roof every 90 days. So make sure you go up there regularly and make sure the sealant is good and tight, no cracks or separation. Make sure there's no damage to the roof, from low branches or road debris. People generally don't inspect their roof enough, so it's a good thing to do. It's a good thing to do. It's an important thing to do, and it protects your investment. So keep that in mind. You got a huge closet here / pantry. This is your control panel here. I'm having a hard time with my monitor here. I can't see very well no matter what. So these are lights here. This is your water pump I told you about, pumping water from the fresh water tank. You also can use this when you're winterizing the trailer to light your water heater on electric right there. Remember I showed you there's a second switch on the lower left-hand corner outside for electric. So keep in mind there's 2 switches. And then for gas right here, that's the fault light right there. So you can light it on gas also. This is your slide out, in and out, and this is your power awning in and out. Never leave the awning out unattended. If you're not going to be at the campsite, roll it in. Battery's charged, freshwater tank is empty, black is empty, first gray is empty, and the second gray is empty. The second gray they call it a galley tank, which will be the tank that holds your kitchen water. So it's still a gray tank, but they call it a galley tank on this trailer. Okay? Graduates up in 1/3 increments, so once you get past 2/3, you got to start thinking about dumping the tanks. Okay, you have a pull-out bracket here, swing-out bracket. There's also a strap for it. So make sure when you're traveling you strap the TV so it doesn't swing around and get broken. Alright. Now, and the TV it works like any other trailer. Let me look behind here for a second to see what we have here. Okay, this is important here. So this, you can see there's a, hopefully you can see there's a little green LED here. Right, you can barely see it, but there it is. That's telling you that the signal booster for the digital antenna is turned on. You can push this little button here and shut it off, but you won't get a good picture. So anytime if you're getting a lousy picture, always make sure you look here to make sure this signal booster is turned on. This is a public Wi-Fi signal booster pre-wire here. So if you're interested, you can. There's also going to be another port on the roof, I believe. So you could get public Wi-Fi with a router in here if you chose to. Your sound system does pretty much everything you need. It has AM/FM radio. It has Bluetooth, so you can stream wirelessly from your phone or tablets. It has a let me see where it's at here. It has a USB drive here, so you could put all your albums on one USB and take them with you if you wanted to. This HDMI is an in, so if you had like a portable Blu-ray player or something, you could just set it right here, plug it in there, and then put it right in that plug, and it'll go right into the system. So you can always do that. It has two speaker zones, A and B. A is inside the trailer, B is outside of the trailer, and all the usual radio stuff, a clock and presets and that sort of thing. Okay. Alrighty. So this is the range hood I told you about. Remember, there's a vent on the outside, and you want the baffle to swing freely when you're venting. Like so. It also has a light. Okay. Microwave works like any other microwave. Now your range, always have the glass top closed when you're traveling so it doesn't break. This has a sparker, so you're going to turn this knob clockwise to spark it. I don't know if he's got the gas on or not here, so I'm just going to, if it's not, I'll just talk you through it. But I can hear it running, so there you go. So you've got gas, you just turn it on. You got 3 burners and 3 knobs, and you turn this clockwise to spark it. You're all set. Now, to light the oven, it doesn't look like the oven's ever been lit before, but we see that all the time. In the back, there's a pilot light. You can see me sparking it back there, or the reflection of the spark anyway back there. So what you do is you go to the knob all the way to the right, which is the oven knob. Go to the picture of the flame, and then depress it. Keep it depressed. Then you spark with your other hand, keeping this depressed, until you see the pilot light down here light. Once it lights, you still hold this in for another 10 seconds or so to heat up the thermocouple. Then you go to whatever temperature you want, and it cycles as an oven does. But when you shut it off, the flame goes out, but so does the pilot light. So you have to relight the pilot light each time you use the oven. Okay. Keys. Your keys are hanging right there. This device here is your carbon monoxide LP gas detector. It should always be green like it is. If not, get it serviced. It's important. Also, if it beeps very slowly, it's telling you your battery's low. So it does carbon monoxide, LP gas, and low battery alert. It should always be green like I said. And I'm just going to put it through this test so you can hear it. LP is good, carbon monoxide coming up. And then low battery alert. And then back to green. It should always be green. Okay, the other device which I passed over here is the power converter. Okay, so this is right here. It's kind of hard to see here, although this does go up. Yeah, you can put this up. Here, let me just do that while we're looking at it. Basically, on this side you have circuit breakers like you'd see at home. So as long as you're plugged in, this is the distribution panel. The circuit breakers are labeled. Right, they're work on 120 AC. Then the power is converted to 12 volt DC on this side. You see you have regular 12 volt fuses, and they're all labeled. So that's where 12 volt comes from. This is also a battery tender, so as long as you're plugged in, it's going to sense how much energy your battery needs and always keep it charged. So it's a battery charger along with a power converter. So when you're pulling down the road, your tow vehicle's alternator is going to be charging the battery, and then when you're plugged in, this will charge your battery. Okay. Okay. If you want to put this in the up position, you can put anything you need in there. Little bicycles, anything that'll fit. Okay, so this is the thermostat here. It's very simple. Like, it works the same way all of them do. You hit the mode to cycle through. Cool, that's air conditioning. Furnace, that's LP furnace. So on and so forth. Fan. So basically, I'm going to shut it off here. So basically, the fan mode, if it gives you the option to run it on auto, like it does with the air conditioner, always choose auto. That's the best way to go. Alrighty, so first of all, this is a GFCI plug. All the plugs in the trailer are wired through a GFCI, even the one on the outside. So if you're using the outside plug and it pops, you're going to reset it here. This works like every other vanity sink. Shower works like any other shower. The toilet is an RV toilet, so it has a flush pedal here. If you can see it right here. Okay. And the rule is you have to have chemical and water in it before you use it. So once you hook up your power and your water, you'll come in here, you'll put 1 dose of chemical in the bowl, then you'll step on the pedal, water will come swirling around and go into the black tank. You step on the pedal long enough for at least a gallon of water and the chemical to wash into the black tank. You never use it dry. If you do, the smell will be overwhelming. You only do it once. And it also can get clogged up. So always have chemical and water in the black tank before you use it. You also have a fan up here to pull humidity and condensation out of the trailer. This table is kind of heavy, but you could drop it down and turn this area into a bed by setting the table on these cleats here. So you really shouldn't travel with it in the up position. You can, but it's up to you. But it's kind of a good thing to close it down. The way you do that here is, whoop, I'm on the wrong side here. Let me look here. Oh, right here. You'll push this to the right, this little lever here with the yellow button. You push to the right and you'll hear it click, and then you'll just collapse it at these hinges. And they'll drop right down onto those cleats, and you can use the back cushions to fill in the space. And like I said, it's a bed if you got guests over or something like that. Your refrigerator is a 12-volt DC refrigerator. So it runs on DC power. And you always keep that latch over there so you don't dent your doors up. But because it's a DC refrigerator, it'll run off the battery and while you're traveling, plus the battery will be charged by your tow vehicle's alternator while you're traveling. So you can actually keep it running so your food doesn't spoil while you're going down the road. Smoke detector. This is a bracket for your a TV, and there's the hookups there for it. This is the emergency window. It just goes like this if you're not familiar with it. You push it all the way through, and you go all the way through with it. Then you grab hold of the red tab, and you would pull the screen right out, and out the window you go in an emergency. Another vent here, which is a good thing to have. There's some storage underneath the bed, like kind of like a foot locker type deal. Okay. Let me see what else we have here. Is that a curiosity? Looks like they're all empty. Okay. Alright, so let me look around and see if I forgot anything. I think we've got it. Yes. Okay. Looks good. So, I want to thank you for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit. Please keep in mind that what I said about inspecting your roof, the manufacturer states every 90 days. Go up there and look at the sealant. You don't want water to get in anyway. That's not this trailer. It's every trailer ever built needs to be inspected. So make sure you do that and just look for issues. Odds are you won't have to do anything for a long time. But that's why you go up there and inspect it, just to make sure. And right now it's been de-winterized. So the antifreeze has been purged from the system and replaced with fresh water. So it's in camping mode, ready to go. So all you have to do is take off and you're all set. You don't have to de-winterize it or anything like that. So, okay, thank you.